The sky cracked open as Thanos descended, his power radiating like a dark sun. Thor's hammer clashed with Juggernaut's unstoppable force, sparks igniting the battlefield. Iron Man's suit blazed with cosmic energy, lasers slicing through chaos. Hulk roared, smashing anything that dared stand in his way, shaking the earth itself. A shocking betrayal could change everything. Heroes and villains collide in a fight for the planet's soul. Earth on the brink. The sky split open with a blinding flash as Thanos landed on the shattered plains of New York. The ground trembled beneath his footsteps, buildings crumbling like paper under his sheer presence. Citizens screamed, running blindly through debris-strewn streets, but none dared face him. Not yet. Thor appeared in a thunderclap, Mjolnir glowing with electric fury. "This ends today, Thanos," he bellowed, his voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. Lightning arced across the sky, illuminating the monstrous figure of Juggernaut, who rolled forward with unstoppable momentum, crushing everything in his path. Iron Man's suit whirred as he soared above, scanning for vulnerabilities. "Thor, Juggernaut's faster than usual. This isn't normal," Tony warned over comms, his HUD flashing warnings. "We need to coordinate, or the city's toast." He fired a volley of repulsor blasts, each shot exploding with pinpoint accuracy, sending chunks of concrete and steel flying into the air. Hulk smashed in the battlefield like a green juggernaut of his own. His fists tore through cars, street lamps, and anything in Juggernaut's path. The ground shook with each impact, dust and rubble clouding the sky. "Hulk smash," he roared, launching himself at Juggernaut with a thunderous leap. Their collision echoed like an earthquake. Thanos didn't move. He watched the chaos with a cold, calculating gaze. "You fight well," he said, his voice deep and resonant. "But this planet is mine to claim." With a snap of his fingers, shards of debris rose into the air, spinning like deadly satellites aimed at our heroes. Thor swung Mjolnir in a defensive arc, sending the shards scattering, but more kept coming. Iron Man zipped through the air, dodging fragments that could slice a mountain in half. "Thor, we need a strategy, not a fireworks show," he shouted, firing a barrage that tore Juggernaut's armor, but the giant barely flinched. "I've faced tough enemies before, but this..." Tony's voice trailed as he realized the sheer scale of the threat. Hulk grabbed a chunk of a fallen building, hurling it like a missile. Juggernaut barely paused, swatting it aside with a laugh that sounded like grinding steel. "You think you can stop me?" Juggernaut bellowed. "I am unstoppable." He surged forward, smashing through the street as if it were glass. Civilians scattered, and the city itself seemed to cry under the weight of destruction. Thor and Iron Man exchanged a glance over the battlefield. "We can't just hit them head-on," Thor said, lightning crackling along his hammer. "We need to separate them, divide and conquer." Iron Man nodded. "On it." "Hulk, you'll need to bait Juggernaut into a choke point. Thor, and I take Thanos." Timing is everything. As the plan formed, Thanos raised his gauntlet, cosmic energy pulsing across its surface. The air warped around him, reality bending in a sickening display of power. Iron Man shot forward, firing a beam directly at the gauntlet, but it merely absorbed the energy, glowing brighter with each hit. "He's feeding off it," Tony yelled. "We need a new angle." Hulk's roar cut through the chaos as he charged Juggernaut. The two titans collided, a shockwave rippling across blocks, shattering windows and sending cars spinning. Every punch from Hulk was met with Juggernaut's brute force, yet the green giant refused to yield. The city trembled under the intensity of their clash. Thor leaped into the air, hammer raised, and struck Thanos with a thunderous blow. The shockwave ripped through the battlefield, sending smaller debris flying, but Thanos barely flinched. "You wield lightning, god of thunder, but I am inevitable," he said, striking back with a force that threw Thor across the street. The hero landed hard, grimacing, but he rose again, determination burning in his eyes. Iron Man maneuvered through the chaos, launching missiles and energy blasts in a relentless barrage. Thanos blocked some, absorbed others and deflected the rest, his sheer power overwhelming. "We need Hulk and Thor in sync," Tony muttered, dodging a shard of metal that could have split him in half. The battle raged through the streets, carnage everywhere. Cars flipped, buildings cracked, and fires erupted across the skyline. Civilians were evacuated, but there was no hiding from the magnitude of this war. Every hero's attack was met with retaliation, every strategy tested to its limit. A sudden rumble shook the ground. Juggernaut had grabbed a city bus, spinning it like a top, hurling it at Hulk with unstoppable force. Hulk caught it midair and threw it back, but Juggernaut's momentum was frightening. "Hulk, now!" Thor screamed. Hulk lunged, smashing Juggernaut into a crumbling skyscraper. Dust and steel rained down as the giant struggled to rise. Meanwhile, Thanos' eyes glowed with energy, the gauntlet pulsating. Iron Man zoomed closer, analyzing every movement. "Thor, we need a coordinated strike. 1, 2, 3, go." Thor swung Mjolnir, Hulk charged, and Tony fired his most powerful blast. The combined force slammed into Thanos, making him stagger, a rare crack in his composure. But it didn't last. With a terrifying roar, Thanos unleashed a shockwave, sending all three heroes flying backward. Thor hit a lamppost, Hulk slammed into the pavement, and Iron Man spiraled through the air, barely managing to stabilize. "He's stronger than anything we've faced," Tony muttered, his HUD blinking warnings. The sky darkened as Thanos raised his gauntlet, energy rippling outward like a tidal wave. "Your world ends now," he declared. Lightning struck the battlefield, Hulk roared, and Thor's hammer glowed brighter than ever. The final clash was about to erupt, but even the heroes could feel the stakes. Failure wasn't an option. Every second stretched into eternity as the three champions readied themselves. This was more than a battle. It was the last stand for Earth. Thanos' army waited, Juggernaut charged again, and the city held its breath. Every move counted. Every hit could decide the fate of the planet. And then, just as the tension reached its peak, a massive energy surge rippled through the battlefield, a force none of them had anticipated. The ground shook violently, sending everyone off balance. Thor's eyes widened. "What is that?" Hulk grunted, trying to regain footing. Iron Man's HUD flickered uncontrollably. "Something big, very big," he muttered. The air shimmered, charged with raw power, and the heroes realized the fight had just entered a new, even deadlier phase. The surge of chaos. The air shimmered violently as a new energy rippled across the battlefield, warping reality itself. Hulk roared, smashing a cracked street in frustration, but the ground beneath him began to twist and quake. Thor's eyes glowed, sensing something ancient and overwhelmingly powerful approaching. Iron Man zipped through the chaos, scanning rapidly. "Guys, this isn't just Thanos. Something else is coming." Before anyone could react, a massive shockwave tore through the city. Skyscrapers trembled, windows exploded, and streets buckled as if the earth itself were alive and angry. Debris flew in every direction. Juggernaut grinned, reveling in the chaos. "Finally, a challenge worthy of my strength," he bellowed, rushing Hulk with renewed ferocity. Hulk met him head-on, their collision sending a ripple through the surrounding blocks. Cars flipped, and chunks of concrete were hurled like missiles. "Hulk, smash!" he roared again, every swing cracking the pavement. Juggernaut laughed, a sound that shook the air. "Is that all you've got, green freak? I am unstoppable." Thor's hammer hummed with energy as he soared into the sky, aiming at Thanos. "Now, Tony, strike while I hold him." Iron Man released a barrage of repulsor blasts, missiles, and plasma streams directly at Thanos' gauntlet. The attacks hit with explosive force, sending the Mad Titan stumbling for the first time. But the gauntlet pulsed with absorbing energy, glowing brighter with every strike. Suddenly, a massive portal ripped open above the battlefield. A blinding light spilled out, casting strange shadows over the heroes and villains alike. From it emerged an enormous alien construct, a creature with 6 glowing eyes and armor that shimmered like molten metal. Its voice resonated across the battlefield. "I have come to claim this world." Thor's grip on Mjolnir tightened. "This is no ordinary foe," he muttered. Hulk roared, leaping toward Juggernaut, using the distraction to swing the fight into a new frenzy. Iron Man zipped toward the alien, scanning its body. "Tony Stark, I need more data. This thing is adaptive, intelligent, and stronger than anything in our database." The alien construct lashed out, energy tendrils smashing into buildings, throwing them like paper. Civilians screamed, fleeing for safety. Thanos smirked. "This is perfect. Let them weaken each other before I finish them off." Juggernaut laughed, smashing the street with Hulk, who countered with relentless fury. The battlefield had become a storm of chaos, destruction, and raw power. Thor unleashed a lightning storm, sending bolts tearing through the alien construct. Sparks flew as its armor absorbed some energy, but shattered under others. Iron Man fired a concentrated plasma beam, striking the construct's central core. It roared, sending out waves of energy that knocked the heroes back. "We're not getting through its defenses," Tony muttered, wiping blood from his armor's visor. Hulk jumped again, smashing Juggernaut into a crumbling skyscraper. Concrete and steel rained down, crushing everything below. Yet Juggernaut emerged, grinning and unscathed. "You can't stop me," he bellowed, rushing toward Hulk again. Their clash shook the city like an earthquake, creating massive craters in the streets. Thor and Iron Man coordinated their next attack. "We need to hit it from above and below simultaneously," Thor shouted, spinning Mjolnir at blinding speed. Iron Man deployed his newest tech, energy gauntlets and precision missiles designed for this level of threat. The combined force slammed into the alien construct, causing it to stagger and roar in rage. Thanos watched with cruel delight. "Fools, you think this will stop me?" He snapped his gauntlet again, sending a pulse of energy that shattered nearby buildings and threw heroes off balance. Thor barely held his ground, lightning crackling around him, while Iron Man struggled to stabilize his flight. Hulk roared in defiance, slamming Juggernaut away just in time. The alien construct swung its massive arms, sending waves of destructive energy that tore through the streets. Iron Man barely dodged, recalibrating his weapons mid-flight. Thor struck the alien construct's core with Mjolnir, causing a massive explosion that sent shards of metal flying in every direction. Hulk leaped high, crashing down onto Juggernaut with the force of a meteor strike. Yet Thanos advanced, his every step shaking the ground. "You fight valiantly, but you cannot stop inevitability," he said coldly. Lightning flashed around Thor as he prepared a final, devastating strike. "Then we'll just have to make inevitability regret it," Thor growled. Hulk roared, pounding the ground in preparation for another assault. Iron Man unleashed his ultimate weapon, a massive, concentrated beam of pure energy aimed at Thanos' gauntlet. The energy collided with the gauntlet, creating an explosion that lit up the sky like a second sun. Debris rained down, and the shockwave threw all combatants off balance. The alien construct staggered as well, sensing the destruction of its advantage. The battlefield was chaos incarnate, a storm of power, fury, and desperation. Time seemed to slow. Every hero and villain prepared for the next devastating clash, knowing that the fate of the planet hung in the balance. Thor's hammer glowed brighter, Hulk's fists shook the earth, and Iron Man's armor radiated with energy. Thanos smirked, unyielding. The alien construct let out a deafening roar, signaling that the battle was far from over. And just as the tension reached a peak no one could withstand, a massive shockwave erupted from the alien construct, sending all combatants flying. Dust, debris, and energy storms filled the sky. The fight had escalated to a level none had ever faced before. Clash of Titans. The sky above New York burned with energy as the alien construct and Thanos advanced together, an unstoppable force of destruction. Thor's hammer blazed with lightning as he soared through the debris-choked streets, narrowly dodging a massive energy blast from the alien. "We cannot let them combine their power," he shouted to Iron Man and Hulk. Hulk roared, leaping high to intercept Juggernaut, whose momentum threatened to split the city in half. Every punch they exchanged shattered pavement and twisted steel, sending cars tumbling like toys. "Hulk smash!" the green giant bellowed, his fist smashing Juggernaut into a crumbling overpass. The collision sent a shockwave that rattled nearby skyscrapers. Iron Man zipped through the chaos, firing concentrated repulsor blasts at Thanos' gauntlet. Sparks flew as energy collided with energy, light flaring in a brilliant display of power. "Tony, we need Thor in sync," Hulk bellowed. Thor raised Mjolnir, summoning a storm of lightning that danced along the gauntlet's edges. The combined assault caused Thanos to stagger for the first time, his smirk faltering. But the alien construct was relentless. Its 6 glowing eyes scanned the battlefield, tracking every hero's movement with precision. Massive energy tendrils shot toward Iron Man, who barely dodged, maneuvering through a hail of debris. "This thing adapts faster than anything I've ever seen," Tony shouted. "We need a new plan now." Thor slammed Mjolnir into the ground, sending a shockwave that threw the construct back. Hulk roared, charging Juggernaut with unyielding fury, slamming him into a streetlight and flipping him into a destroyed storefront. Iron Man fired his final salvo, an ultra-concentrated energy blast, hitting the alien construct squarely in the chest. The armor cracked, sparks flying everywhere. Thanos stepped forward, unyielding, his gauntlet glowing with ominous power. "You cannot win," he said coldly. He raised his hand, and the ground erupted in a wave of destructive energy, sending Thor, Hulk, and Iron Man sprawling. Dust and debris choked the streets. Hulk roared in fury, smashing his fists into the ground to steady himself. Thor's hammer crackled with lightning as he leaped back to his feet. Iron Man activated thrusters at maximum output, dodging falling debris. The alien construct retaliated, swinging its massive arms in sweeping arcs that sent skyscraper fragments flying. Thor's lightning struck the limbs, shattering parts of its armor, but it regenerated almost instantly. Hulk smashed Juggernaut into the side of a building, sending both tumbling, yet Juggernaut staggered up, laughing maniacally. "Is that all? I've barely warmed up." Thor and Iron Man coordinated their next strike. "We hit Thanos and the alien together now," Thor shouted. Hulk, hearing the plan, roared in agreement and charged again. Thor summoned a storm of lightning, hammer spinning at blinding speed, while Iron Man fired a precise, ultra-high energy beam at the alien construct. The combined assault forced the two villains to stagger. But Thanos wasn't finished. He slammed his gauntlet into the ground, sending an energy shockwave across the city. Skyscrapers shuddered, windows exploded, and debris turned into a deadly storm. Iron Man barely managed to stabilize mid-flight, dodging shards of steel and concrete. Thor used Mjolnir to deflect energy waves while Hulk roared, throwing debris at Juggernaut to slow him down. Suddenly, a massive fissure opened beneath the alien construct, splitting the street in two. It roared in anger, lashing out with energy tendrils that Thor and Iron Man narrowly dodged. Hulk used the opening to launch Juggernaut into the gap, the giant smashing into rubble with a thunderous crash. Sparks flew, concrete cracked, and for a brief moment, the heroes gained a sliver of advantage. Thanos and the alien construct exchanged a glance, each recognizing the other's power. "You are stronger than I expected," Thanos said to the alien. "But together, we will crush them." The construct responded with a deafening roar, sending energy surging outward in all directions. Thor slammed Mjolnir into the ground, creating a protective barrier for Iron Man and Hulk as the shockwave hit. The battlefield was a storm of chaos, lightning, energy blasts, and debris flying in every direction. Hulk and Juggernaut clashed with unmatched ferocity, each smash shaking the ground. Thor and Thanos engaged in a furious exchange of lightning and gauntlet energy, sparks flying as they struck each other again and again. Iron Man darted between attacks, using every ounce of his skill and tech to keep up. As the dust settled briefly, all eyes turned toward the alien construct, which rose higher, energy pulsing from its core like a second sun. "This ends now," Thor shouted, gripping Mjolnir tighter. Hulk roared in agreement, smashing the ground with unimaginable force. Iron Man charged his ultimate weapon, energy radiating across his armor. The stage was set for an earth-shattering final clash. Battle for the planet. The battlefield shook as the alien construct hovered above the wreckage, energy surging like a storm. Thanos' gauntlet glowed with raw power, each finger radiating destruction. Thor's hammer crackled with fury as he shouted, "We cannot let them overwhelm us. Strike together." Hulk roared, smashing debris aside as he prepared to charge Juggernaut once more. Iron Man zipped through the chaos, targeting Thanos with a relentless barrage of repulsor blasts. "Thor! Hulk! We need synchronized strikes," he yelled. Thor spun Mjolnir, summoning a storm of lightning that danced across the battlefield, striking Thanos and the alien construct simultaneously. The two villains staggered under the combined onslaught, but neither fell. Hulk charged Juggernaut, smashing him into a crumbling skyscraper. Steel twisted and concrete exploded, yet Juggernaut laughed, rising unscathed. "Is that all you've got, Green Monster?" he taunted. Hulk's fists slammed down again and again, shaking the street, creating massive craters in their path. The clash of titans echoed like an earthquake across the city. Iron Man fired a concentrated plasma beam at the alien construct, striking its core. Sparks flew and parts of its armor shattered, but it quickly regenerated, energy pulsing faster than ever. Thor leaped high, striking with a massive lightning arc, creating a brilliant explosion that illuminated the entire skyline. "We need to push harder. Now," he shouted. Thanos smirked, snapping his gauntlet with brutal precision. Waves of destructive energy exploded outward, sending Thor, Hulk, and Iron Man flying. Debris rained down, dust clouding the battlefield. Hulk roared in defiance, smashing the ground to steady himself. Thor's eyes glowed as he summoned another surge of lightning, preparing to counter Thanos' next strike. The alien construct lashed out, energy tendrils sweeping across the city, tearing through buildings and streets. Iron Man dodged with precision, firing back at the glowing core. Hulk slammed Juggernaut into the ground with a thunderous impact, sending rubble flying in every direction. The city trembled under the combined might of heroes and villains. Thor and Iron Man coordinated another massive strike. "Hulk, get ready," Thor yelled. Hulk roared, hurling massive debris at Juggernaut to slow him down. Thor's hammer spun at blinding speed as he struck the alien construct's core. Iron Man fired a final concentrated blast at Thanos' gauntlet. The energy collided, sending both villains staggering, sparks and debris filling the air. But Thanos and the alien construct weren't finished. They unleashed a wave of destructive energy together, forcing the heroes to retreat momentarily. Hulk slammed his fists into the ground, deflecting some of the force, while Thor blocked blasts with Mjolnir. Iron Man maneuvered expertly, dodging energy waves and debris, recalibrating his weapons for his second strike. The city groaned under the weight of destruction. Skyscrapers cracked, streets buckled, and fires burned uncontrollably. Citizens had been evacuated, but the destruction was nearly total. Thor's lightning clashed with Thanos' gauntlet. Hulk and Juggernaut smashed in a relentless brawl, and Iron Man's energy beams tore through the alien construct's armor. Every strike, every move carried the fate of Earth on its edge. As the dust and energy storms settled briefly, Thor, Hulk, and Iron Man regrouped. "We can do this," Thor shouted. "Together we are stronger." Hulk roared, pounding the ground in agreement. Iron Man's armor glowed with concentrated energy. The villains staggered, but they were not defeated. The final confrontation was near, and every second counted. Earth's final stand. The battlefield was a storm of chaos. Smoke, fire, lightning, and energy surging in every direction. Thanos' gauntlet glowed like a miniature sun, the alien construct's armor pulsing with lethal power, and Juggernaut charged relentlessly at Hulk. Thor hovered above, Mjolnir spinning, his eyes blazing with fury. Iron Man's suit radiated with his ultimate weapon, every system maxed for the final assault. "Now Hulk!" Thor roared. Hulk leaped like a living missile, smashing Juggernaut into a ruined skyscraper. Steel twisted and concrete exploded under the impact. Juggernaut roared, staggering, but his massive form rose again. Hulk didn't relent, hammering relentlessly, every punch sending shockwaves across the battlefield. Thor hurled Mjolnir at Thanos, lightning cracking across the sky. The mad Titan blocked, but the force of the strike made him stumble backward, the gauntlet glowing violently. Iron Man zoomed in, firing his ultra-concentrated energy beam directly at Thanos' chest. The combined power of lightning, brute force, and technology slammed into Thanos, making him stagger for the first time in this war. The alien construct retaliated, swinging massive energy tendrils at the trio of heroes. Thor blocked one with Mjolnir, sending it flying into a nearby ruined building. Iron Man fired rapid repulsor blasts, shattering armor plating and sending sparks flying. Hulk hurled a massive chunk of concrete at the construct's core, cracking its armor further. The alien roared, energy pulsing violently, but the heroes didn't pause. Thor summoned a colossal lightning storm, striking both Thanos and the alien construct simultaneously. Iron Man fired his ultimate concentrated beam, piercing the gauntlet's defenses. Hulk smashed Juggernaut into the ground one final time, leaving the unstoppable giant groaning in defeat. The villains staggered, their power immense, but finally wavering. Thanos' eyes blazed with fury. "You cannot," he began, but Iron Man's energy beam and Thor's lightning struck him at the same time. The gauntlet flared violently, sparks and cosmic energy exploding outward. The alien construct let out a deafening roar as Thor and Iron Man combined another strike, shattering its core. Energy exploded outward in a blinding wave, sending shockwaves through the battlefield. Hulk roared one last time, smashing Juggernaut into rubble with unstoppable force. The city trembled, dust and debris flying everywhere. Thor struck the alien construct core with a massive lightning hammer slam, while Iron Man fired his final energy barrage at Thanos. The villains faltered, staggered, and then, finally, they collapsed under the combined might of Earth's champions. Silence fell over the battlefield. Smoke and dust hung in the air. Skyscrapers were cracked, streets were torn apart, but the heroes stood. Thor's chest heaved, Mjolnir glowing softly as lightning subsided. Hulk roared, victorious but exhausted, surveying the wreckage. Iron Man's armor flickered with energy warnings, but he hovered in the sky, scanning the remnants of the battlefield. Thor looked at the horizon. "Earth survives," he said, voice steady but full of awe. Hulk gave a victorious roar, pounding his fists into the ground, shaking the ruins one last time. Iron Man landed beside them, the glow from his suit dimming as systems powered down. "We did it for now," Tony muttered, exhausted but alive. The alien construct was gone, shattered beyond repair. Juggernaut lay unconscious, defeated but still alive. Thanos had fallen, his gauntlet damaged beyond recovery. The city, though in ruins, would rebuild. The people would remember this day, the day heroes rose together, facing impossible odds and protecting their world from ultimate destruction. The sky began to clear, light breaking through the dust and smoke. The battlefield was silent now, victory hanging in the air. Thor, Hulk, and Iron Man stood together, bruised but unbroken. Earth had faced its darkest hour and survived. The final battle was over.